Everyone loves freedom. It is one of the most important, if not the only important, value of all. No one complains about having too much freedom. Many even think that some individuals are too free to the extent that additional laws should be put in place. Specifically, successful people should be taxed, regulated, and penalized more. However, there are many others who think differently. They feel entitled to all the freedom they want. Self-made millionaires spend a lot of time pondering the answers to the questions. How much money do I need to farm the lifestyle I want? And once I have it, what will I do next? They focus on it. They have to sacrifice a lot in the short term to accumulate enough net worth. That generates income for their freedom. Their families get freedom, and the freedom they get, they tirelessly work until they reach the deadline. There, they can engage in many activities such as charity and eliminate tasks they dislike. Naturally, in the early stages of life, you will have to work hard, put your whole heart into financial freedom goals, and accomplish them when you have the most energy, desire, and opportunities. Looking dreamy about money has many explanations as to why some people remain poor throughout their lives. The law of belief states that everything you truly believe will become your reality. Many believe in completely implausible things about money. In a world governed by laws, we live in a world governed by laws, not by chance. Things happen not by luck nor by accident. The law of cause and effect states that everything happens for a reason. There is always a cause for everything. The immutable law determines the fate of human beings. All successful outcomes, whether rich or poor, have one or more specific causes. Every cause or action has consequences in one form or another. Regardless of whether we notice or like it, the most important principle contributing to personal or business success is what you spend the most time thinking about. The external world is a reflection of your inner world. Therefore, it's not what happens to you, but how you think about it that determines your emotions and reactions. The external world doesn't control your circumstances. Rather, your inner world shapes your life, including your thoughts about money and finances, which strongly affect your financial situation. Today, individuals from affluent families are more likely to succeed financially. That's because it's the environment they grew up in, where they saw, heard, and were taught that if they work hard and create value, they can also succeed financially. Even if you envy and resent others, engage in negative conversations, gossip behind their backs, it doesn't affect them. They might not even know you're doing it, and frankly, they don't care. Yet it destroys all your hopes and dreams of achieving success. Therefore, never engage in gossip or envy successful people. People often say, oh, they're rich, but they're not happy. I've studied the wealthy very carefully, so I can affirm that they are very happy. It's said that your income will be the average income of the 5 people you spend most of your time with. Although this is true, yes, it's an interesting way of thinking. Your net worth will be the average net worth of the people you associate with. Why is that? It's because you develop the same mindset and lifestyle as them. Whatever you truly believe in will become your reality. The biggest challenge we face is self-limiting beliefs. I believe that we are limited in one way or another. For me personally, what hindered my development for many years was the belief that without a good education, without graduating from high school and going to college, I would never succeed. But then I was kicked out of high school. Limiting beliefs involve thinking that you can attract money and wealth using the power of your mind and dominant ideas. Behind the law of attraction, before it affects your health, it reflects your thoughts on food, nutrition, diet, exercise, and hesitation. The second area is your relationships. You always attract people who resonate with your dominant thoughts. Therefore, if you have a truly positive mindset, you seem to always be surrounded by other truly positive people. Lastly, it's your financial situation. You will always know what someone thinks about money by observing what they attract into their lives. That's just the beginning, but there's much more to it. Some books say that all you have to do is think about happiness, visualize wealth and success, and you'll attract it. That's not true. The Bible says that faith without action is useless. That means you have to work very hard to establish a field of energy influence, and establishing an energy field that permanently affects your financial assets is impossible. If you don't consistently implement consistent and harmonious actions, some people often think negatively about money, such as that the rich are evil. Such thoughts typically stem from the poor being angry. If you believe in that, you'll never succeed financially because you'll self-sabotage. That's why many people suffer from self-sabotage after earning a lot of money, wanting to achieve something without effort or price, wanting to possess something they didn't earn and don't deserve. It's one of the most destructive notions to human hopes and dreams globally. Misconception number 2. The wealthy spend time thinking about how to make money. The idea that the rich are always thinking about making money is inaccurate. The most important principle in human life is the principle of service. Earl Nightingale once said, "Your rewards in life will always match your service to others." The question you need to ask yourself every day is, what can I do today to increase the value of my service to others? Look at Harry Potter. Henry Ford revolutionized the world of manufacturing. When people worked in teams, it took about 300 hours to make a car, as one team did everything with the help of their engineers. Ford developed an assembly line that could produce the final car in that time, but at a cost of $300 instead of $3,000. The real creators of the cars, the manual laborers, the lowest class in society at this point, all have the ability to buy the products they create. Henry Ford transformed the entire world, and that was his greatest joy. He almost became the richest person in the world by bringing cars closer to everyone, something that had never been done before. When the wealthy consider the development of a hotel, real estate, or stock store, they always consider how they can develop that product or service to help people improve their quality of life. That's what they're always thinking about. It's what inspires them, and they receive rewards that are well-deserved. Misconception number 3, you cannot achieve personal financial goals, let alone wealth. If you're just a wage earner, the reason people don't retire financially independent is that they spend everything they earn. Then they start to panic because they don't have much savings at age 50. They start to improve this situation by throwing any money they have or can borrow into get-rich-quick schemes. One thing is certain, making money from get-rich-quick schemes is a loser's game. So many people become desperate. Remember, someone who starts early enough, saves long enough, and doesn't touch that money will experience the magic of compound interest over time. Staying in the market, you don't need to own a company. You don't need to be an entrepreneur. You just need to invest in other stocks and become a small owner holding a small part of many different companies, being well managed and managed by experts. The next misconception is the most widely believed, misconception number 4, stating that most wealthy people live in red neighborhoods, drive luxury cars, and spend lavishly. A person's life has 3 periods: 5 months of learning, 5 months of earning, and 5 months of desire. Nowadays, of course, we often say that the years of learning will last forever. From the years of earning, it's when you work hard and accumulate money, then develop. That money will come to a point where you reach a threshold where the money you invest will generate greater returns than your income. That's when you start to slow down, and you can gradually reduce the frequency and volume of work over 5 to 10 years. Then, all you need to do is manage your spending carefully and live comfortably for the rest of your life. The time to start buying a house, the time to start spending, is after you've overcome the difficult period to achieve financial independence and can start investing your surplus. Timing is crucial. You need enough savings so that if you want to buy a house, even if the whole world is in a very bad situation, you can still afford to make payments that meet your living standards and wishes for your family. But if you spend too soon, you curse yourself when disasters happen and risk ending up with nothing. Misconception number 5, stating that you can get rich through playing the lottery or hitting the jackpot. Wanting riches without being willing to work for them is like cancer. It subtly tempts people in a very cunning way. One of its guises is exchanging $1 for a lottery ticket. Striving or trying to achieve something without putting effort into it will destroy the soul of a person. It's a disease. Accumulating slowly, it starts to erode the spirit and body. Smart spending. If you ask someone what they would do if they won the lottery, the first thing they mention is what they plan to buy. You need to change your mindset about spending. Instead of thinking, if I had money, I would make myself happy by spending it. You should think, if I had money, I would make myself happy by saving it. Time and money can be spent or invested. If you spend it, it will disappear forever. If you invest it, you will receive a profit from it. This is what most people fail to understand. The more you invest time in improving yourself and your earning potential, the more money you will make and accumulate. It will generate even more. In matters of money, there's a law of conservation. This proposition states that the issue isn't what you can make, but what you can keep. This will determine your financial future. Spending sensibly will yield investment returns. You preserve it, you save it. Irrational spending occurs when money disappears forever and you never get it back. Debt management has a rule. Everything costs twice and 3 times what you think. So if you think you'll break even within 6 months, it might take up to 12 months. Everything will be more expensive because many things you can't imagine, even with an extremely good budget, reserving from 50 to 100%, you can still be shocked. That's why I say this assumption is meaningless. Don't spend your money when starting a business, because at the beginning, you can spend every penny you can borrow along with everything you own or accumulate. According to Forbes magazine, 80% of new businesses go bankrupt within 2 years. Learn the lesson. All new businesses have to race against time. You can make a profit before you run out of money. In business, there's a rule. It takes 2 years to break even, 2 more years to repay the money you borrowed in the first 2 years. No business, according to Peter Parker, makes a profit in the first 4 years. If you plan, you're probably crazy. There's also the 22-3-2-5 rule. 2 years to break even, 2 more years to pay off debts, and 3 more years to rise up and then make a profit. So it's good if you have enough cash to cover the first 2 years. If not, you'll go bankrupt. When hearing that, I used to say, that's absurd, that won't happen to me. I'm different, I'm better. But it actually took me 7 years. All the people I listened to talked about the 7-year rule. Costs twice and takes 3 times longer than you think. It took 2 years to break even, 2 years to repay debts, and good old 7 years to make a profit. When someone becomes a successful entrepreneur, they've certainly been through all those stages. When you're drowning in debt, the only way you can escape is to pay off the highest interest debt first. Look at your credit cards. Most are charging you at 18%, 23%, and even 30%. Pay off the credit card debt with the highest interest rates first. Prioritize all of your savings to them. People often advise, pay a little on everything. I just want to say, pay the minimum on them. If you want to maintain the status quo, that's fine. They won't haunt you. As long as you keep making the minimum payments, once you set yourself free from debt, there will be a range of strategies. You can use it to achieve that goal. One is to start saving money. The clear rule is pay yourself first by saving at least 10% of your monthly income. However, if you're drowning in debt, start with a smaller savings amount, following the steps below. Suppose you are drowning in debt and want to save as much money as possible to get out of this situation. You also can't save 10% each month. Save 1% and live on the remaining 99%. Because humans are creatures of habit. So if possible, try to like setting aside 1% of your income at the beginning of the month. You will still live quite comfortably with the remaining 99%. In the second month, save 2%. In the third month, save 3%. Keep doing this. After a year, you can achieve a savings rate of up to 12%, while completely eliminating living expenses to the point where you won't even notice it. Write down everything you spend money on. You'll likely find yourself pouring money into a latte. Keeping track of expenses will help you not spend money on it anymore, so you save that amount of money. When you start saving money and increasing your financial freedom account, something good will happen to your debts. Your mindset will change, your attitude towards debts will also change, and it affects the accumulation of debt. To summarize our discussion on debt, because I've been deeply in debt, I understand the psychological and emotional impact that comes with it. Sleepless nights, fear of foreclosure, parking far away from 2 neighborhoods to avoid debt collectors. A truly terrifying life, and I've fallen into that situation many times. If this happens, and if it happens to you, resolve to break free from debt and stay away from it. Your motto, I will live a debt-free life. So sit down, plan, and prioritize getting out of debt, because this isn't something you do every day. This is something you need to do right now. If you're married, sit down with your spouse and list all your assets, along with all basic expenses, electricity, water, gasoline, groceries. Yeah, from different sources, make a detailed list for each debt. I've said before, you become what you think about most. Self-made millionaires are just like us, but they always stick to the rule, I will become wealthy. And then they did. You will never become wealthy until you decide like that. If you decide like that and take action, you will surely achieve financial independence, because there are many opportunities and challenges for you to achieve that. Studies have calculated the amount of time that people burdened with financial problems spend thinking about money each month. They think about money around the clock. They think about money, talk about money, complain about money, cry about money, fight over money. They drive while still absent-mindedly thinking about financial issues. But how much time do they spend sitting down, figuring out, planning, and seriously dreaming about financial destiny? The answer is probably about 1 hour per month. People usually, those fortunate, spend about 1 hour per month jotting down notes, mostly when paying bills. I've been through that too. When you sit down and say, okay, we'll pay off the credit card this month, we'll pay this month's bill, you allocate money until it's almost gone, and then you start worrying about money next month. But what about self-made millionaires? They spend a minimum of 10 hours per month reading financial magazines, financial publications. They research financial news. They consider services, including debt and investments. They spend 10 hours a month thinking about how to better organize their financial lives. So they have a 1,000% advantage, 10 times that of ordinary people not spending time thinking, initiating income sources. Once you apply smart spending methods and effective debt management methods, you are financially literate. You need to make sure you're generating cash flow or steady income to invest in additional projects, as well as potential financial opportunities, and live your style. Everyone wants to earn high and stable income, able to afford their dreams. People dream. Money suddenly gets transferred into their mailbox, as if they still have money without working. It's a pipe dream indeed. I know some of the smartest people in the world have been holding on to this dream for 25 years. They always say that this is the ideal, the miracle, the way for me to start generating high income without working. In reality, the only way for you to generate high income is to invest time and money in producing goods, to trade them yourself, or for others to trade. They receive royalties, commissions, dividends, or whatever else. If you're going to invest any money, invest in what you excel at. I emphasize this repeatedly in my specialized workshops. I'm not asking you to win Olympic gold medals. They become number one just by being in the top 10% of their field, because that's where all the money flows. One reason people don't make it into the top 10% in their field is because they completely choose the wrong industry and lack the drive in that field. The main reasons are they never commit to trying to break into the top 10%, and they plateau. They reach a certain level of competence, and then they let themselves plateau. Gary Becker, the Nobel Prize-winning economist, conducted another interesting study. He found that the average income of those in the bottom 80% increases by about 2 to 3% per year as long as they remain employed. This is an increase due to cost of living. So they're not actually growing in the market. The top 20%, their income increases on average by 11.8% per year because they continue to learn, develop, enhance their skills, and excel more and more in their field. So why do some people have such high incomes? It's because they do their job really, really well. So if you want to be paid more, the principle is quite simple. Start working a little earlier, work a little harder, stay a little later. I often tell people that the secret to success is working full-time, wholeheartedly with the work you're doing. When people say, I want to start a business, I respond, make sure you provide a product or service that you would also want for yourself, for your family, for your mother, father, and your best friends, because you believe it's good enough to truly make a difference in their lives. That's the starting point. This doesn't mean you'll succeed, but if lacking it, according to many studies, you'll likely never put your full effort into entrepreneurship. You might end up golfing on Fridays, relaxing, chatting with friends, utilizing everything you can, borrowing and scraping by until the company goes bankrupt. These are the two main reasons companies go bankrupt in their early years, because nobody wants to buy the product and because they're not proactive. You say the most important thing you need to understand when making an investment. You're playing a gamble with the knowledge and experience of that seller. You believe it will increase in value. The seller doesn't think so, or worse, they think it will decrease in value. That's why stock trading is always a game. The seller sees it as reaching its maximum value, while the buyer hopes it will increase in value. The best investment is the one that provides you with the most stable cash flow, managed risk. First and foremost, income-generating sources always carry a lot of risk because everyone wants high income, everyone wants stable income. A good friend of mine said in an MBA class, 3 factors you'll have to deal with throughout your career and decide that everything will come to you is competition. Competition and competition. All best, if you plan to invest, is to invest with experts, those who have extensive experience and proven investment achievements. Sharing the same investment risks as you, the best investment I've ever made is to collaborate with those who share my interests. Yeah, what if I don't make money? We make a profit together at a rate and pace. Those are the best investments, building prosperity. Some people fall into the top 1% richest in the world, or not even 1%, maybe 0.01%, but this ratio is very rare. 99 out of 100 people, because it requires many factors to come together. Most people don't get rich quick and wealthy by starting a single product business. I've researched this for many years. You start with one product and make that product successful. It's a series of stages you have to go through. The two key factors to success in business, according to Jim Collins, author of Good to Great, are first, you must have a product or service that is of significant value to the customer. The second factor is that it must be different and superior. It must be perceived as better than similar products already on the market. First, you must test the product to ensure there's a consumer market for it. Then, distribute with limited release and figure out how much you can price it. Next, start introducing and distributing this product line to the public and develop a business model that allows you to maximize the number of products or services you bring to the most customers at the best price in the shortest amount of time. Then, broaden that process, especially the repetition part. I find that the difference is not in the top 1% group, but in the top 3% group. The individuals in the top 3% richest in the world all have specific clear goals and written plans. They are like architects designing a beautiful building and constantly refining the blueprints. They work towards those goals and plans, then make it into the top percentile on the planet. Becoming truly wealthy is very rare, but you can significantly increase your chances of success by careful planning and thoughtful consideration. Don't squander money, think carefully, invest time and effort to thoroughly research the business before pouring money into it, and commit to not giving up halfway. You must directly involve yourself in business activities to ensure its success. Anyone who says you can't do it is someone who has never been successful in business, because you'll understand that if you want to succeed, you have to put your whole heart into it. You may increase your chances of success, but you can never be sure. The biggest enemy of success in financial matters or any other field is complacency, the lure of the comfort zone. Many companies enter the market with a great product. The product receives praise, they sell it in large quantities, and then competitors jump in. Wherever there's a potential for higher than average profit, competitors will emerge with similar products or services to gain market share in the increasing profits. Continuous and tireless innovation is why some companies and individuals are incredibly successful every passing day. Somehow I'm becoming better and better. I learn more and more. I'll never go to bed at night if I don't see myself wiser than when I woke up that morning. Successful individuals always enhance their skills. At some point, everything needs to be done, and it's left to hope. If you're truly lucky, you'll be broken. That's how many people go from hardship to billionaire, enhancing prosperity once they reach a certain level. Surely you'll want to find a way to invest conveniently, to multiply it while being busy working, to become more successful in the career you've chosen. But as we see, some people make mistakes when they're too reckless in investing because they don't have enough necessary information. They're greedy or too busy to pay attention to where they invest and how they invest. One of your main goals in life should be financial independence. You must aim for the point where you have enough money to never worry about money again. Finding joy is now. Financial independence is easier to achieve than ever. Let's talk about some rules of money. The first is the law of receiving, which states that everything happens for a reason. There's always a cause for every outcome. This is an immutable law of human destiny. This law says that financial success is a result. Indeed, it stems from certain causes. When you identify these causes and implement them in your life as well as in your activities, you'll receive similar results that hundreds of thousands, even millions of others have received. You have the potential to receive any amount of money you truly desire if you do what others have done before you to achieve similar results. If not, you won't achieve that result, that's all. The next law is the law of investment. This law states that you should thoroughly research before you invest. This is one of the most important laws of money. You should spend time researching a specific investment, at least as much time as you need to earn the amount of money you're putting into it. Don't rush away from the money you're holding. You've worked too hard to earn it, and it took too much time to accumulate it. The first consequence of the law of investment is that it's very easy to lose money. Earning money in a competitive market is very difficult, but losing it is one of the easiest things you can do. The second consequence of the law of investment comes from the self-made billionaires like Dip Devitt, who was interviewed in Forbes magazine about his own money-making rule, saying that he has a simple principle, which is don't lose money. He calls this rule number one. He says if there's a risk of loss, don't get involved right from the start. This rule is so important that you should write it down and place it where you can see it. Read it over and over again. The third consequence of the law of investment states that if you think you can withstand a little loss, you'll ultimately lose a lot of money. So always ask yourself, what if? If you lose 100% of the investment, can you handle it? If you can't, the fourth consequence of the law of investment asserts that you should only invest with proven individual investment experts. Again, don't lose money if you feel tempted. Refer back to this rule and firmly hold on to what you have. Therefore, invest in what you fully understand and trust. Seek investment advice only from financially successful individuals and apply that advice when investing. The next law is the law of compound interest. This law states that careful investing and letting money grow through compound interest will make you wealthy. Compound interest is considered one of the greatest things in human and economic history. You can use the rule of 72 to determine the time it takes for your money to double at any interest rate. Yes, simply divide 72 by the interest rate. For example, if you receive an 8% return on your investment, when you divide 72 by 8, you'll get the number 9, meaning it will take 9 years for your money to double at an 8% interest rate. The first consequence of this law shows that the secret to compound interest is to let the money move somewhere and not touch it once you start accumulating money and begin to grow. Don't touch it or review it for any reason. The next money law is the law of accumulation. You must be disciplined and persistent. You have to accumulate over a very long time, very long. At first, you'll see very few changes or differences occurring, but gradually, your efforts will start to bear fruit. You'll begin to outperform your peers. Your financial situation will improve and debts will decrease, leaving you with increased bank account surplus and an improved quality of life. In the big picture, it's challenging, but in detail, it's easy. When you start thinking about saving 10 to 20% of income, you'll immediately come up with all sorts of excuses. Why is this impossible? For example, if you're drowning in debt, you'll have to think about using it to cover your debts. However, if you're still stuck in the situation described above, there's still a solution for you. Start saving 1% of your income in a special account that you'll never touch. The next money law is the law of attraction, which means as you save and accumulate more, you'll attract more money into your life. The law of attraction, or the law of attraction, is the primary cause of prosperity throughout human history. This law explains most of the successes and failures in all fields, especially in finance. Money will go where it is loved and respected. The more positive emotions you associate with your money, the more opportunities you'll have to attract it to gain more money, preserving prosperity once you achieve financial success and stable prosperity. Your job is not over yet. The science of money requires you to use many different asset protection methods to avoid quick losses. What you've built over many years, my favorite phrase in preserving prosperity, is thorough investigation, meaning carefully investigating each specific detail of an investment, double checking with experts, consulting, discussing with accountants, bank employees, and talking to peers. Go around and meet all the people you work with and gather external opinions. If I did that, even just once, yes, I would save myself not only time, but also avoid losing a large sum of money that I had accumulated over so long. You may accept more risks when young. You may truly work hard and be very ambitious, but at age 50, you start to become more cautious and meticulous. Remember, the principle is not to lose money. If you see any risk of losing money, no matter how small, stop and ask yourself, wait a minute, can I afford to lose all this money? If the answer is no, the investment path, the relationship between money and happiness after all. Earning a huge income and building prosperity means nothing if it doesn't bring you happiness and fulfillment. We often compare ourselves to those above us. When someone reaches their first $1 million, they feel very happy. But then they start thinking about the figure of $2 million. When looking up at those making $2 million after reaching $2 million themselves, they continue to look up at those with $5 million. And so on, when they earn $5 million, they will look at those who have $10 million. People always want to strive for more, and this is truly a good thing. I call this attitude a great dissatisfaction. It helps you push yourself to strive. Psychologists have found that your level of happiness and satisfaction is proportional to your current status, the position you think and the position you want in this stage of life. You need to remember that money doesn't make you happy. It's the feeling when you accomplish what you do, earn this money to support and take care of your family that makes you happy. It's the feeling when you unleash and leverage more and more of your potential and measure, yes, you can really see worth in dollars. Abraham Lincoln once said that people are only happy when they decide to be happy. Everyone has their own level of happiness, like a thermostat setting a certain temperature, and they maintain that level of happiness. Your goal is to change yourself and elevate your level of happiness so that you are regularly happy. This requires you to achieve many goals, work diligently at what you do, build good, healthy relationships, and much more. Happiness is